Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro rolling out hour number 2 on a Friday. So glad you can join us. Coming up here at the bottom of the hour, it is the one-year anniversary of the shooting in the Synagogue Tree of Life massacre in Pittsburgh, where so many lost their lives to a white supremacist. Adam Hertzman is from the Jewish Federation of Greater Pittsburgh. He's going to be joining us in a little bit, coming up at the bottom of the hour, and Jose Canseco in hour number 3. But before we get to all that, as I mentioned, we'll take your phone calls at 257-5396. Metro Police Department no longer detaining immigrants on the federal immigration holds. What that basically means is if it's not a serious felony, it's not murder or DUI, we're talking about a headlight out, maybe jaywalking. They cannot detain you if you're an illegal. They can't deport you if you're an illegal. I actually do support that, but I do believe if it's a serious crime, you should be deported. 257-5396 is the number to call. I promised we would get to those busy phone lines, so let's do it. Let's go to Jennifer, who's been waiting patiently on hold. Jennifer, thank you for calling in. What's on your mind?
Yes, about the border agent you just talked to. Congress, they've been begging Congress for years to do something about the influx of people, and they would not do it. They were going to do it when Obama was in office. And that was what President Trump ran on. He had to take money from the military to build the wall, to build that $300 million center where they're living like a country club over there. He had to go to Guatemala, all these Latin countries, Mexico, to have them start doing their part. So there's not this big crisis, but the Democrats wanted every night on the news, people in cages, make everything look as bad as they can. And President Trump kept begging them, look, I'll do anything. Just, work with me. Just let's end these loopholes. And they wouldn't do it.
Can I ask you a question?
And they wouldn't do it. And
all right,
yes,
I agree.
That like the man that Lake Mead, yes, they get away scot-free. Fender benders, it doesn't matter.
Okay, hang on, Jennifer. Let's. Okay.
I mean, they wanted to throw me in jail for 4 months over 2 jaywalking tickets.
Okay, well, that's ridiculous. Obviously, Jennifer, I would not support that. Okay, you said a lot there. Some I agree with, some I disagree with. I don't think this is.
The facts are the facts.
Okay, well, let's. Okay, well, Jennifer, let's have a conversation about that. I get your point. Okay, Donald Trump ran on, we're going to build a wall, and Mexico is going to pay for it. You would agree that that's not happening. Mexico's not paying for a wall. Now, if we're going to talk about immigration, yes, I will blame Barack Obama. I will blame Democrats just as much as Republicans. This is a crisis. There's no question about it. But with that being said, there are some facilities where young children have died. There are some facilities, not at where we had this gentleman that just came on. Luckily, it's not happening at the Yuma sector border. Thank God they're doing a fantastic job. But there are some facilities. This is just a fact. You want to talk about facts. There are some children that have died. They have not gotten the care that they should have had. There are many people that are sleeping on floors with tinfoil blankets. Not every facility is built to equip.
The parents make the decision to drag those kids for months.
The terrorists? When was the last terrorist? When was the last? Hold on a second.
I said the parents drag their kids over 3, 4, 5 months it takes to get over there.
Okay, so let's say you're right. Does that mean?
So if you have died by the chance they happen to be.
So you're okay with children not getting proper care health care? Okay, so stop. Okay, whether it's the parents' fault or not, that's not what we're talking about right now. Yes, in a perfect world, I wish the parents would not do that. We agree. But
many kids have died before they even got to the border.
I understand,
so
Jennifer. I understand, Jennifer, but there are some.
No one has a gun to their head, and even Trump said the gates open, they could walk back out.
But the problem I have, Jennifer, is
walk back out over on the other
Jennifer.
side.
Okay, Jennifer, I get it, but here's the issue. And listen, like I said, I don't disagree with everything you're saying. However, when you have this idea in your head that it's 100% on the Democrats, it's all their fault, and the Republicans have done nothing wrong, that is exactly why things do not get done in Washington. You have to put blame on both sides. Now, if you want to say it's 75% Democrat, 25% Republican, the issue we have with illegals, the point I'm trying to make is stop blaming one side of the aisle. Democrats and Republicans need to come together to fix this problem, period. And don't say Donald Trump is the Messiah and he's doing everything he can to help this immigration problem, because he's not. Okay? Yes, I would put the blame on Obama. I put the blame on Democrats and Republicans. 257-5396. Let's go to Paul. Paul, you're next on the Vegas Take. What's on your mind?
What's up, Paul?
Hey, how you doing? Well, listen, I just wanted to say, unfortunately, we live in a country we're never going to please everybody. We have two parties. It'd be great if we had three. Maybe we might get something done, and not have a stalwart all the time.
I agree.
Two parties.
Yep.
And the fact of the matter is, you're right. Can't blame one. You got to blame them both. And it is both fault.
Right.
But as far as, like, the children, that have passed at the border, it's an absolute shame. I have children. I have grandchildren. I feel for any child or any parent that loses a child, regardless. But do I think it's intentional on anybody's part? Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. But we do have to do something about our immigration system. The country can't afford to just be wide open. The economy would collapse.
You're right.
We just said everybody come. So,
can I ask you a question there? You made a very good point, and I agree with you. Do you think that the majority of these Democrats want a wide open border? I mean, maybe Castro does, right? But I don't think that the majority of Democrats are saying that, and I think that's a right-wing talking point. I'm not saying you're saying that, and I agree with you. But I don't think the majority of Democrats want a wide open border where there's no border patrol. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, but on the same token, I agree with you. Unfortunately, you look at who we have running for, the office of president on the Democrat side right now. They've all asked to abolish ICE. I mean,
well, that's ridiculous.
I mean, we have to have mechanisms in place.
I agree.
To protect, the border and the system.
No, I agree. I agree completely. The only thing, Paul, where a lot of people on the right disagree with me on is this. I don't believe that if you cross the border illegally and you have no criminal record, and like, for example, this new law, this Las Vegas, ending the federal immigration hold. I don't believe if you have a family, if you've lived here for a number of years and you've never committed a felony, that you should be deported and separated from your family. That I disagree with.
Right, but if you've been here for 10 years, why have you not tried, or even 5 years, why have you not made an effort to get a path to citizenship?
Because it's a lot more difficult than people will lead you to believe. Go ahead, Paul.
It's suspicious to me.
I'll tell you, I know quite a few. I'm born and raised in this town.
Yep.
I know quite a few that have worked in this, town that are in that position. And I ask them the same thing. Hey, how come you don't take time to go? I mean, I'll even sponsor you.
Right.
I'll help to sponsor you because you're a good worker.
And what do they tell you?
There's some of them just, to be honest, I had one that said he didn't want to because he was getting offered medical insurance through the employer, and he didn't want it because, unfortunately, he said that he'd go to UMC, he had 4 children, and he never gets a bill, and they never call him.
Well, you know what?
And
I'll say this,
if
Paul.
he had insurance, he'd have a copay.
And you know what, Paul?
So he's taking advantage of the system.
Yeah, Paul, I'll say this.
And there's ones that do, and it's not all of them. No, absolutely
Paul,
not,
I'll say this. I'll say this, Paul. And by the way, thank you so much, by the way, for your call. We really do appreciate it. I'll say this, Paul. It's not his fault. You know whose fault it is? The people who put those laws in place that enable him. They enable him. We heard it last segment. It's a loophole that needs to be addressed.
When someone does that and they take advantage of the system, then someone who actually has insurance and is willing to pay their bills gets hit harder.
The problem I have...
It's vicarious. It goes on to somebody else. And that's happened to me several times.
But the problem I have is that when
you understand that, right?
Yes, but the problem I have is when you're an illegal, you're in this country, you're not a violent criminal, and you're hurt, your child is hurt, your child has a disease, needs medical care. I don't want to live in a country where we say stop, turn around, and get out of here. I don't want to live in a country like that.
But say an illegal has children and they get proper treatment and it's $30,000 in treatment. The money, nothing gets reimbursed for that. The slack for that has to come from somewhere else.
That's a very rare circumstance. Usually that will not happen.
He just described it.
$25,000, $30,000 in medical treatment for a child that is an illegal. That is not something that happens on a regular basis. We're talking about, other situations and other medical situations, $25,000, $30,000 surgery is not going to happen to somebody that is an illegal. In fact, there are illegals in this country that die because they don't have the funds
Brian,
to be able to take care of themselves.
If each of your children went to the ER 3 times a year, that's $20,000.
Okay, but we have insurance.
Without a surgery.
We have insurance, though. That's the difference.
But they don't.
257-5396, the number to call, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Al. Al, you're next on the Vegas Take. Go ahead.
What's up, Al?
Did we lose Al? I think we lost Al. 257-5396 is the number to call. I believe Mike is our next caller. Mike, you're next on the Vegas Take. Go ahead, Mike.
Good morning, Mr. Shapiro and Mr. Sharp.
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
How you doing, Mike?
Well, I'm an expert on illegal immigration, being I'm a contractor, carpenter, framer for Southern California. I saw the beginning, I saw during, and now I'm seeing during again, well, after what happened with Jimmy Carter, Jerry Brown, AFL-CIO, the Carpenters Union, mainly residential branch, and the building trades, and the other partner in crime was the San Diego housing builders. The developers down there, I won't say any names, I was a superintendent for one of them. We built 2,200 homes a year on the average. That was a average year. So I know what's going on. I was a piece framer. I saw trades come and go. I saw beautiful tradesmen lose their job. I had kids paid by my union, long gone now. They went out of business after they went off.
So you're saying, in layman's terms, you're saying illegals are taking jobs away in your expertise and what you do. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, it's long over, Brian. It's done. The cartels ran the drywall industry for the last 30 years.
So what's your solution, Mike?
They ran the hot wagons. If one hot wagon intruded on another one's territory, they blew the damn thing up.
Mike, I want to get your opinion now, since you're saying that it has affected you personally. What is your solution to the problem?
Well, my dad was a government contractor. He went down to look at a border fence back when I was in a 57 Chevy wagon. And I think I was about 7, 8 years old.
Mike, I'm not trying to interrupt you, but I have time constraints. I apologize. Please.
Right,
what is your solution?
I remember where if they even thought that you went close to the border, they would pull your car over, family and all, and search your car.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how critical it was down there. I mean, try to get into Canada, it's impossible. It's even worse trying to get up into Alaska. I just realized this. I just personally experienced it. But let me tell you something. The politicians have done this. I want to know, is anybody going to take blame and apologize or admit that this has been planned from day one? In California, it started. Nobody's going to tell me different. I saw it happen. They started this crap in California. They overran the borders. Reagan green-lighted it with amnesty. The only way you're going to stop this, ICE is not needed. Why do you need ICE in Vegas? It's redundant. The criminals should be stopped at the border. It's BS. And I'm pissed off. Nobody's ever done anything about it for 40 years. This is what you get. The only thing we need now is a wall, period. And it's already over. The damage is done. Try to find a tradesman, a white tradesman, like
All right, Mike.
said. There's no more room for white tradesmen.
All right, Mike, I would have let you go on a little longer there. Listen,
I think that was actually a pretty impressive rant, Mike.
I think I understand, Mike, where you were going with that. Like I said, I do have time constraints, and I wanted to know what your solution was. I'm sorry that you've had to deal with some of those situations, but we have other callers to get to.
I wanted to hear the end game, and he didn't get to it. He was about 80% there. He was really picking up a lot of momentum.
Our phone lines are jammed. We got to get to some other callers. Thank you for the call, Mike. We appreciate it.
Good call, Mike.
Did give you some ample time there, but we had to play that music and move on to the next caller. Let's go to Sam, 257-5396. Sam, what do you think about all this?
What's up, Sam?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good.
Doing well.
Good. Well, hey, listen, I just want to call because I'm Mexican, right? So I hear your show a lot. I love your show.
Appreciate
that.
I
hear a lot of people call and they say, well, the illegals come over here and they get all this for free, and it's why they don't go get pass through citizenship. It's not that easy, man. It's really not. If you try and if you go to immigration, they say, well, maybe you need to be married to somebody who's citizen, and they can ask for you to come over. But it's really hard, and nobody wants nothing for free. So when you're illegal, it's so hard to get a job. And so when you have a family and you only make $10, $11 an hour, if you have a baby, it's hard for you to pay those bills because you can't pay your rent.
Sam, I think it's very difficult. Sam, I hear you, and I think there's two sides to every story, and I agree with you. Unless you've been put in that position, and a lot of people will say, well, I would never be put in that position because I would never cross the border illegally, but they have never been in that spot.
But Sam, if you were, and I realize that the pathway to citizenship can be difficult, but if you were a citizen, wouldn't your earning potential be significantly higher as a legal citizen than an illegal citizen of the United States?
If I'm a citizen, I need to look for a decent job to where I can pay my bills and get insurance. But if I don't have no papers, it's hard for, let's just say I go to you and say, hey, maybe you're going to give me a job. I said, you know that I don't have no papers and you don't have to pay for my insurance. You said, I'm not going to give you insurance. So it's hard for me to say, well, you're not giving me insurance. You're only paying me $12 an hour. I need to go to the doctor. That's why a lot of people don't go to the doctor, because they wait until really they're almost dying to go to the doctor because they can't afford it.
No, Sam, you're absolutely right. Some people think that becoming a legal citizen of this country is like flipping a switch or getting gasoline. It is an extremely difficult process, and not everybody has the means in order to do it. 257-5396.
Hey, thanks for the call, Sam.
257-5396 is the number to call. Why don't we go to Vaughn? Vaughn, you're next on the Vegas Take. What do you think about all this?
What's up, Vaughn?
Vaughn, are you there? Okay, I think we lost Vaughn. 257-5396 is the number to call. I believe our next caller is Carl. Carl, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, guys. Reason I'll give 1 minute on the subject you're talking about. I tried to call yesterday on another subject, but you got to look at this as far as the illegal aliens you're talking about. Probably about 90% or more contribute to their neighborhood. They're paying rent. They're going to the stores, the grocery stores. They support businesses around. They're still contributing to the neighborhood one way or the other, and people don't mention that. And the other point I want to bring up is yesterday you were talking about, which I couldn't get through, the N-word, and should somebody be fired in their business. Well, I have a property in Miami, actually not too far from Doral, which is a bad thing to say. But I was there a couple of years ago at a big box retail store, and one of the clerks, there was a black woman trying to exchange something, and the clerk actually said, you N's are always giving me problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's pretty bad.
The problem was the store itself has a liability. This black woman went out. She has to the neighborhood. It was in the paper. They had a lot of black shoppers, and this is a big-name store. They lost a lot of business. Would you, as a black person, go into that store? No.
No, Carl, listen, I understand. We got to stick to the topic on hand, which is illegal immigration. But we've discussed that ad nauseum, and simply put, that word should never be used under any circumstance. 257-5396.
Thanks for the call, Carl.
257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Wilfrey. Wilfrey, you're next. What's on your mind?
Well, in simplest of terms, what you're really doing is selective enforcement, which reflects, again, the failure of our sectors of our society, of which, Brian, you're a platform for that.
Completely not factually accurate. Once again, Wilfrey, I've been very simply put in layman's terms on this show. I believe if you cross the border illegally, if you are not a violent criminal, if you don't have a police record, there has to be some sort of pathway to citizenship. If you are in this country illegally and you have never committed a felony, there has to be some sort of pathway to citizenship. If you commit a violent crime or if you're a violent criminal, either at the border or already in this country, you need to be detained and you need to be deported. I don't know what part of that doesn't make sense to you.
Well, this is what you do, Brian. You reconstruct the narrative, and then you claim, it's your fault, and then you call them names and hang up on them.
What are you talking? I just made a statement. I just made a very logical statement, which I believe is very logical to you. So stick to topic. What part of that do you not understand? If you do not commit a serious crime in this country, we need to put something on the books, a pathway to citizenship.
This is what I'm talking about, the twister, sinister, deviant verbiage.
Okay, you keep using these weird words. Stick to the topic. What is your solution? Then what is your solution?
we're trying to do that solution now. We elected
Try
Donald
harder.
J. Trump to kick some ass, and he's doing that, and you people are getting up in front of it.
Okay, first of all, I don't know what you mean by you people. Okay, I called the president accountable.
You're a Trump hater.
Excuse me.
That's what you are.
Okay.
You're you're not, but you are.
Okay. Let me respond to that.
watching you.
Okay, pot him down because he won't be quiet. First of all, we were talking about illegal immigration. I gave you my logical opinion, and obviously you are not intelligent enough to have that conversation with me. I just laid it out for you logically, and then you switch the topic and you call me a Trump hater. Okay? Now I'm going to talk about people like you, since you like to talk to me like that, Wilfrey. Okay? Anybody that disagrees with the president, anybody, whether it's policy or just the way he lives his life or the way he tweets, anybody that has an opinion that is negative towards the president, you consider them a Trump hater. Let me tell you the people I dislike. Let me tell you people that I don't even know if I'd use the term hate, but people that disgust me that I don't have a lot of respect for. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about, Wilfrey, so somebody like you will understand. I'll be very clear to you. A president who asked for another president for help on dirt on a political opponent is not somebody that I consider to be a good president. A president who goes after a war hero in John McCain, saying he doesn't respect him because he's captured, is somebody that I don't respect. A president who goes after a woman's looks, yeah, he did that to Ted Cruz's wife and many, many others, is somebody that I do not respect. A president that has unprotected sex, or before he was president, let me clear that up, has unprotected sex with a porn star months after his wife has a child is somebody I do not respect and somebody I do not want in the White House. So you can say I am a Trump hater, but I'll tell you something right now. There are people on the left that I feel that way about, and there are people on the right that I feel that way about. It just so happens that the man that is in the office happens to be Donald Trump, the president of the United States, Wilfrey. So you can call me a Trump hater all you want. You can continue to call up
Brian,
and say,
you are a giant Trump hater.
I don't think he should be the president of the United States, and I laid that out. I think he's a scumbag.
Sometimes I disagree with Donald Trump, but I'm not a Trump hater.
Okay.
You consistently disagree with Donald Trump. You don't like him as a human being.
I don't,
You hate his rhetoric. You hate his demeanor. You think he's bad for the country. You are a Trump hater.
I do.
Clear cut.
I do. But the problem is somebody like Wilfrey calls in and says, oh, you're just a Trump hater. And then other people call, oh, you're a snowflake. You're a liberal. People that do stuff like that.
Very sensitive this week.
People that do stuff like that are not able to have a debate. I just laid out, just get rid of Wilfrey because I'm tired of his. You want to talk about rhetoric.
Hey, thanks for the call, Bob.
257-5396. All right, let's go to Chuck. Chuck, I believe you're next on the Vegas Take. Go ahead.
Hey, Chuck.
Yeah, your guest that you had on kind of corroborated all the stuff Trump's been talking about, crisis, loopholes. And I just wanted to know what you had to say about that.
Well, I thought I was pretty clear on a lot of the stuff he said. I think they're doing a very, very good job, obviously, down there at the sector border. But I'll tell you something that Jose said that the president doesn't say. Jose said that the majority of the people crossing the border are not bad people. Jose said that the majority of the people crossing the border illegally are not felons. They're not serious criminals.
But let's not focus on. Let's focus on what Jose did say. And a lot of it, what he said is exactly what President Trump has been telling the public for the last 2 or 3 years.
So what did Jose say, Chuck, that you think I haven't said over the course of the last 6 months?
Well, he said crisis, and then what do you call it?
I've always said it's a crisis.
Said that it was a manufactured crisis, and Anderson Cooper and all them.
Okay, I'm not Anderson Cooper.
I was going to say derogatory words.
All right,
but,
Chuck.
Not yet, Brian.
Chuck, all I could say is I'm not Anderson Cooper. I can only go by what I believe. I do think this is an issue. If you want to use the term crisis, okay, I don't disagree with that. I'm just trying to understand what he said on the show that I've disagreed with. I don't really.
Well, he said crisis, loopholes, and then all the
absolutely there are loopholes. Absolutely there are loopholes.
He mentioned how money is necessary, a lot more money. They only spent $340,000 last. We had a big segment. This is probably 2 or 3 months ago about the whole blanket toothbrush thing. He basically explained why that is. It's not because they choose to do that. It's because they don't have enough money to do so.
Yeah, Chuck, I appreciate the call. I apologize. I am up against a hard break right
good
now.
Call, Chuck.
But when we come back, it is the 1-year anniversary of the Tree of Life massacre. This is the Pittsburgh synagogue where so many innocent lives were taken. It's a horrible story. Adam Hertzman is with the Jewish Federation of Greater Pittsburgh. As you know, many idiots in the media, including Tucker Carlson, who said the idea of white supremacy is a hoax. Well, guess what? We're going to talk to the man who experienced this in his community, where innocent people were massacred in a synagogue. Let's see what he thinks about that. We don't hear the president talk about white supremacy very often, do we? Well, we'll hear from Adam Hertzman coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take.